Good morning, everyone. My name is Anandakumar. I live in Baltimore, Maryland, in the East Coast of United States, and I'm originally from the north in Jaffna, Sri Lanka. I grew up both in Colombo in my early days, and then Jaffna. Later on, from 1977, I moved to Jaffna from Colombo, and I studied at Mahajana College for 2 years, and then I came to St. John's in 1983, and I did my A-levels at St. John's. And then after entering university, in the middle of the Civil War, the Indian peacekeeping force was in Sri Lanka. I decided to go abroad to continue my studies, and I came to the US to continue my university education. And then I went to graduate school in electrical engineering, and I am an electrical engineer. I have a small business that I run in Baltimore in magnetic resonance MRI technology. That's a little bit about me, and I joined working with SJC87. It is organized by St. John's All Boys from my batch, 87 batch. And Mithilan was one of the early founders of this initiative. And Surya Kumar is another one in Australia. And a bunch of our classmates got together, and I am one of them. So I have been with the organization from the beginning of 2007, at the end of the civil war in Sri Lanka. We started this to help the regions that were affected by the civil war. That's a little bit about me. Midhu, you can share about you.
Yeah, thanks, Ananda. My name is Mithilan Thavarasalingam. I see a lot of familiar faces. So besides Ananda and myself, we also have Sudarshan from our UK committee, and then we have our field officer, Dirkla Murugesu from Kalinochi, joining us today. A little bit about myself. So we went to St. John's from grade 1, and then until leaving the country, and then here we are in Canada, and I'm a retired investment banker by profession. So the fact that I'm retired, I have a lot of reasonable time on my hand to coordinate and do a lot of stuff in Kalinochi and back home in various other education zones. So here we are united. Pretty much most of our committee members are our classmates, or a couple of classes junior or senior to us at St. John's. And we don't just restrict ourselves to St. John's. Anybody who wants to join can join. It's just the name is SJC87Initiative, and couldn't come up with something smarter at the beginning. So, and we don't do a lot at St. John's. We do a lot where there is need. So that's kind of what made us somewhat successful over the last 12 years. So that's where we are, and I'll pass it back to Ananda to
Yeah. Why don't Sudarshan also introduce himself before?
Yeah, sure.
Suda.
Hi, good morning all. It's good evening in UK. I'm based in UK. Accountancy is my profession. I also studied from St. John's from grade 1. Fortunately or unfortunately, I've known Mithilan from the age of 7, I think. So and Ananda for a long time as well. I been involved with SJC87 since it started back in 2000 2009, early 2010 as well, like the other two guys. Yeah, that's it from me.
Okay, so let me start with the presentation. So as you can see, let's go to the second slide. Midhu, can you move? Okay. Yeah, we started in 2009, as we mentioned already, to work with the schools that have been affected by the civil war. As you can imagine, many of the Kalinochi area students they were studying in Jaffna around that time. So we started naturally to work with the kids at St. John's. But when the war, the situation started to improve, Kalinochi area started to function a little bit normal. The students moved back to Kalinochi. So we really wanted to help the kids who have been affected directly hit by the war. So naturally, we decided to focus our attention in Kalinochi, as Midhu mentioned. So we focus right now our work in Kalinochi. And rarely we go outside. We have done some things outside. We are not opposed to that going, but we wanted to keep our focus in Kalinochi. For instance, last year, our charitable income was about 36 million Sri Lankan rupees. This year, we are projecting it to be close to 50 million. And we have 2 full-time workers, field staff in Sri Lanka. The next slide. We are a registered charity in the UK and in the USA. So people can donate to us and get tax deduction. We are a registered trust in Sri Lanka and a not-for-profit organization in Australia and Canada. So we actually like to make a big impact. That's a good goal. But how do we do that? It's a big question. So we really like to learn from each other. And that's one of the reasons we are here today. And because we want to work with people who are making big impact. And we want to collaboratively work together and learn from each other. One of the 2 main things we do is sponsorships, student sponsorships. And the second one we do is school-specific projects that are not necessarily restricted to infrastructure, which we were doing in the beginning stages. We are going away from that, but focused on education. How to help the student. Sure.
அந்த ஸ்லைட் ஷோ மோடுக்கு மாத்தினா அந்த ஸ்கிரீன்ல பெருசா தெரியும்னு ஒரு கமெண்ட் வந்தது. ஓகே, thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. So school-based projects. Those are like requests come from locally, as well as we sometimes initiate from visiting the schools and talking with the different people, and we initiate. One of the recent things that we have started, and I have been leading this effort, is English language development in the Kalinochi district. We have a total number of schools in Kalinochi is about 104. 94 of them are in primary schools, primary school level, and 64 of them are in secondary level. But we have only 25 primary school level English teachers and 70 secondary English teachers. And as you can imagine, this is a severe shortage of teachers, English proficient teachers in Kalinochi district. In 2020, last year, when I visited Kalinochi, I was told that they had a severe need, immediate need, urgent need of 50 primary level English teachers. Let's go to the next slide. So further, this situation is impacted heavily by the COVID-19 virus problem. And as you hear now that the second wave of COVID is hitting Sri Lanka. And the schools are in shutdown for a long periods of time, on and off. And right now it's on a shutdown time. And the kids are unable to gather, teachers are unable to gather in group classes, tutories are closed. So the education, leave alone English education, is severely impacted. The other thing is, as I mentioned, lack of proficient teachers. So these are the things that are severely impacting. And as you can also, probably many of you that Kalinochi is a region that has, mostly people come from a farming background, So they don't have English proficiency. Even the parents don't speak English as much. So there is an urgent need for teaching English. So we are approaching to confront this problem by e-learning, distant education tools, then training workshops for teachers so that we can train quickly teachers to use these tools that we have, electronic learning tools, to make an impact efficiently and quickly. So one of the organizations, local organizations we are partnering with in Sri Lanka is OpenE. OpenE is based in Mana district, and they have been working in English education for more than 2 decades. So they have developed curriculum that are used on electronic medium like a thumb drive or YouTube videos. So they are posted, actually stored their teaching videos or lessons on thumb drive as well as in YouTube. So we are delivering this to students. And for instance, in GCE O-level level, we have approximately 2,500 students taking GCE O-level every year. And in 2020, 33% of them attained satisfactory pass. So our goal in moving forward in 2021 and beyond, our goal is to reach 50% of the students who are attempting GCE O-level get a credit pass. So that's the goal we have, and we want to collaborate with as many of you to attain this goal. And without English credit pass, it's very difficult for any student, graduating student, to get a job, even whether it's in the government sector or in the private sector. So we are trying to get as many students to get a credit pass in GCE O-level English. Next slide. And we are collaborating with OpenE, DP Education, which has promised to give us some smart boards, and many others we are trying to work with locally. And we would like to collaborate any of you gathered here today. As I mentioned, we want to train teachers. For instance, we are coordinating 2 workshops this coming Saturday, 19th June and 26th June for primary level and O-level, GCE O-level teachers, because they are staying at home now, no schools. We are giving smart boards to schools that don't have smart boards or projectors. Then we also do follow-up. Follow-up is very important. How these teachers are using these tools that we deliver and the teachings, the workshops that they learn things. And I think that's that's the next slide is, it's about special needs. Sudarshan will take over from me. Suda?
Unmute, please, unmute.
Sorry, thank you, Ananda. I've split the special needs into 4 sections. So you can have a little bit of background and then let me tell you about where we are today. So back in 2010, when the war ended, when we went there to see the schools in very remote areas, we found that kids with lots of problems, autism, Down syndrome, ADHD, even people who had hard of hearing, they were all put in one classroom. They weren't separated, and they were all put in one classroom, and they were teaching them as one unit. There was nothing specific for each issues they had. And then also other issue we found was back in 2010 was attendance. Parents saw no value in sending their special needs children to school, because they thought, if we have to take them to school, we have to take time off our work, we had to go there and then wait with the child at the class and then finish at, say, 2 o'clock or something, and then come back. So they lose a day's earning as well. So that was another thing that we found was an issue as well. So what we did was we gradually started doing things for them, for the children, so the parents saw value to sending those kids to school. So number one, we need to get them to school, make the attendance go up, and then we can look at other areas of how to improve, and also explain to the parents that, bringing your kids actually helps you, because they will learn, and then they can be even a little bit more, at least even 10%, 20% more independent at home, where they don't have to rely on the parents looking after them. So where are we now in terms of 2020? There are 24 schools with special needs classroom section in the Kalinochi area. There are some about 200 odd children in total, 20 full-time teachers, and approximately 7 volunteer teachers. So the issue there is some of the schools will have 15, 20 children in there, and they will be only allowed two teachers to teach them. That is not sufficient. So what we do is us together with other organizations, we pay for the teacher salary for the volunteer teachers to make up the numbers. What we are doing now as we speak is we are supporting, as I said to you just a little bit earlier, supporting the teachers of the volunteer, supporting the volunteer teachers, paying their salary. We also furnished 2 out of the 24 schools with special needs desks, chairs. They need special chairs, special desks, and also toys for them to play as well. 2019, we organized and administered the Canadian SARC, South Asian Autism Awareness Center, to go and do a needs assessment 2019. The plan was, following that, we were going to put a plan in place and carry on improving, going back again and doing more things. Unfortunately, soon after that, the COVID set in and it's kind of set us back. So what we're doing is there's a distant learning the SARC team are doing once every 2 weeks. They do a Zoom class to the teachers who come to the zonal education office, and they were being taught through Zoom how to work with the children. Again, that's kind of stopped now as well. As of today, we haven't had those classes for more than a month now due to the lockdown issue in Sri Lanka. We also, the previous lockdown, we also did some workbook for the children so they could take it home and work from it, like drawings and everything. One of the things that which nobody's looked into, or even we are struggling, is this lockdown helps normal children, because you could have the classes online and you can teach them online. We don't know the impact of that to the special needs children, because we don't know what's happening at home. That is a major issue. When the lockdown eases and the restrictions go, they all come back to school. We're going to find, I'm hoping not, but we will find that the parents are not willing to send the children, because they've kept the children for nearly 6-7 months, and we're going to go back to the old days of 2010, where they're not going to see the value of sending the children back to school. So that's a challenge we have to face. We also help the schools and the zonal education guys to run special needs sports day and special needs program as well. COVID has given us a lot of challenges. As one of the ones I told you, I just mentioned that it is going to be really hard to see how the attendance is going to be when they come back. I suspect a lot of the parents are not going to see any value. They probably going to say this is just a waste of time sending the kids. So we have to go back to the old, back to the beginning, what we did, and try and bring them back again. And it's going to take some time. This COVID is really, I think, is going to affect the special needs more than anybody else, I believe. What is our plans? Future plans is to work in Kalinochi, improve Kalinochi, and then go to other areas. Like, there are certain areas like Madhu and Tunukai, they are way behind Kalinochi. So if you look at Vavuniya district is really high up. They are well advanced. Kalinochi is just below them. They're struggling. Jaffna is also way high up, and Kalinochi is not as advanced as Vavuniya or Jaffna. And if you compare that to, say, Tunukai and Madhu and even Mullaitivu to a certain extent, they're way behind. So our plan is to get Kalinochi up to standard, subject to getting out of this COVID issues fairly quickly. And we want to move to other areas and help them there. That's it from me, and I'll take any questions later. Thank you.
Okay, this is Mithilan, so I'll continue on with the rest of the stuff. So as Ananda mentioned, sponsorships and then school or zonal help is kind of how we divide our staff. So these are our sponsorship numbers, a lot of numbers and a lot of information. I'm just going to glance through them. So we have like 430 students under our sponsorship right now, 280 of them school students, and out of them, I think roughly spread about 70 schools in the north and just a couple of schools in the east. And university students, we have 150 of them spread across almost 14 different higher education institutions in the country. And we don't kind of discriminate about anything and anybody. So we take from east, we take from the upcountry area, and Kalinochi people going to the other universities and all that. So, and that's our breakdown in terms of how many people how many students are being sponsored from each country. It's just more information, and how we do stuff in terms of issuing receipts, giving sponsors a lot of feedback in terms of how the students are doing and what their money is doing and all that. So that's how our sponsorships work. And we also give like audited financial statements of our trust, usually within 3 months of the end of December. So before the 31st of March, we get the financials out. So in terms of projects, like school projects, we have one thing that I didn't have is we have started doing a preschool play area development, mostly in the Manda East area in Mullativa. So we're continuing that. We've done 4 already, and we're continuing with that. And then we start with grade 5 scholarship exam preparation and GC O-level preparation. We do that in like 5 zones, Kalinochi, Tunukai, Madu, Vaunia North, and Tenmarachi. So that's a grade 5. And GC O-level, that's by request only. So we've started islands lately, and Madu and Tunukai and all that. So Ananda touched with the English language development, and teacher assistants also. We do stuff as they come, meaning that there are some shortage of quality teachers or just teachers alone in various schools for various subjects. So we just address it as the needs comes. And ICT, we do a lot of I call it Googleification of most of the stuff, so that teachers, students, and even in the education system will have a lot of centralized system of education. So that touched a lot on special needs, and then we do a lot of infrastructure projects within schools and the zone, so that schools and zones will have a lot to at least the basic facilities so the students can learn. And we also have a lot of extracurricular. We love extracurricular activities. So like sports, music, drama, like youth leadership programs and all that, so that students are not just buying into their books. So they have all the other stuff that they can focus on. Things we do differently. So we have our own paid staff on the ground. So it's easy to go and monitor stuff. And having our necessary systems and information sharing mechanisms, Google, and everything's like automated and information shared. So we're not and WhatsApp and whatnot, things have improved technology worldwide, and we're also taking advantage of them. And having our own trust in Sri Lanka, that's very important, because we have our own trust, and that's being audited. And 3 of our members, 1 is a lawyer, 2 are accountants. They are the trustees, and so everything goes through them, and it's easy to make money transfers from making it, whether it's 2,000 rupees or 2 million rupees, easy to get things going in a very short time frame. And during COVID, we also visit there very regularly, like Ananda, Suda, myself, and all the others. So that's that. And we also have, I call it outsourcing the reverse way, because we value the time by the people on the ground is very important. So whatever things that we can do outside of the country, we do it, like whether it's issuing receipts, having accounts, or addressing emails and all those kind of things. We try to do it outside of the country so that, the outside of the country, the time comes voluntarily, so we don't have to pay anything, whereas people on the ground, they can focus on more important stuff. And effect of COVID. Yeah, sure. We all know, we have talked about it, I think. So just to get one small example is the performance of A-level students has been relatively weak from the last year's A-level compared to the previous years. It's just that, people have been, or students have been, students who just, took their books and their bags to school and are now being told to go electronify your stuff, and B, learn yourself as well. So two main issues there. Just the electronification part itself is challenging, and then they're also being told to go learn themselves. So that came at a critical time, so that's been challenging. And the thing is, kids from the poor and unstable families have been affected more because they didn't have this, electronification part done at the right time. So we have pumped up the effects in 2021. One thing, few things we've done. So we have gotten 500 people Zoom meeting license to the Kalinochi zonal education department, so they can, that comes at like $60-70 US dollars a month. So so they can use it anytime to, whether it's teacher training or get students. So even the grade 5 scholarship preparation classes are going to be on Zoom this time. So we've somewhat electronified that and kind of able to facilitate that to more schools and zones. So makes it easy for them. And our sponsored students. So we when it's our time to take care of our sponsored students, we have electronified there, so meaning that if they want a laptop or a smartphone, we have provided them to that. Or if they want a data package or a Wi-Fi package, whatever we have provided. So I think at least our sponsored students are in somewhat of a better shape than last year in terms of continuing education while COVID is still intact. So. And then we come up with measurements, and it is charity work, so not all charity work can be measured, but we still measure a few stuff so that we kind of know, where we were and where we are right now. So let's take grade 5 scholarship exams. When we started, I think only 60% of the Kalinochi students used to pass the exam, and only 8% used to get above cutoff. Now 90% are passing, and like 16% are getting above cutoff. GC O-level exam results, the percentage you pass from like O-level to A-level, proceed to A-level, it used to be like 42% when we started the work in Kalinochi. Now it's like 61% are proceeding to A-level. And the government's also introducing the, continuing grade 13 education. So, students really don't have to pass O-level to continue their education until grade 15. And GC A-level exams and university entrance, that's kind of tricky, but then we kind of focus on promoting science education in GC A-level. So if a student's going to go to a bio stream or math stream or technology stream, they get special scholarships. So that scholarship seems to work better with like almost like 40, sometimes even 50% of our students getting into university, because roughly you just got to get a 3 S's in Kalinochi in a science stream to someone get into university. So that's how we measure. But then, like I said, not all works can be measured. So our underlying thing has been, keeping kids in school until they're 19. So they've become much better mature, so they can handle the world. So that's been number one aim from the beginning anyways, just keep them in school. So it makes them better people when they get out into the street. And long-term plans. So we still think this is the big issue, because students are going to school and then going to tuitions to learn the same thing. So like almost 12 or 13 hours of learning on the same day. That's a pretty no-no in in where we live. But if kids are learning like more than 6 or 7 hours, we kind of put a stop in the Western world. So somehow that needs to stop. That's why we think that we don't promote tuition or tuition centers, but we want to encourage schools and how schools teach and how they can maximize. So get better productivity from the teachers, so that what is being done over a 12 or 13-hour day, and free their mind, and so that they can learn better. And the second thing is education to be more of a bringing out of talents in each student, as opposed to telling them what to do, meaning that you just we all came through that system, but it's still changing in the rest of the world. So we want to change them as well. So, it's just that books and this is how things are done, and you being taught to do stuff the certain way, as opposed to that, here in the West, we kind of try to understand what is each kid's talent, and then go promote that talent, so that, that kid's gonna be much better off in life when he or she grows up. But for that to happen, the economy needs to grow up, meaning that, for just one example, if a kid is so good in music at the age of grade 11, at the age of 11, not grade 11, at the age of 11, a lot of things are being done. Here people would just go to music school like Berkeley or something like that. Just forget about science and maths, but that's not happening. But for that to happen, I think the economy needs to change, where people with music talents can get a good job, or people with sports talents can shine in the sports world, all those kind of things. But we're working on that. Like I said, we love the extracurricular part of education, and by doing these things, I think we get there in a very long time. But that's our aim, like bringing talent in each kid, as opposed to preaching them what to do in life. So that's pretty much sums it up. I think pretty reasonable time frame as well. And we're very happy to answer any questions or take in any suggestions. We're here. So